Hello, everybody. So glad you're here with me today. So, flexibility as you go towards a paralegal career. What the heck does that mean? Well, I'm going to go over some things, but number three is going to be one of the most important that a lot of you all have talked about, whether in your comments or on my paralegal coffee talk page on Facebook. But I've heard comments there and here about that very topic on number three. So hang in till we get there. I'm going to go over them pretty quickly. Today I'm going to do a quote from Charlie Brown. He says, excuse me, in the book of life, the answers are not in the back. So as we look back all the time, turning towards the back, looking at the past, that doesn't get us where we need to go. It doesn't get us where we need to go when we focus on fear, even though it's there and will probably follow us until the day we die. We don't need to focus on it and have that stop us all the time. Okay, it will be there, not going to go away, but you can certainly push it down. I pray it away, but it still takes a hike. So let's talk about the flexibility. And number one especially addresses this. Nothing is permanent. So it may be that you land your first paralegal job, and it may be that you stay there for a year or two, but you discover that, excuse me, it's not really conducive to good mental health. I hope that made you laugh. But you find out that, like some other jobs you may have had, that it's not a great place to work, and you're saying, but now I'm stuck. No, you are not stuck. You have to have a flexibility here, that you are building a career for that reason. If you look at this as just a 9-to-5 job, hello, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for touching base. We haven't been able to connect in a while, but I'm glad you're here. Looking at it as building a career instead of a 9-to-5er is very important, because gaining all the legal knowledge that you possibly can is numero uno. Why? It makes you flexible. What does that mean? It means that, excuse me, boy, I'm really, bleh. It means that, pick a scenario. The attorney leaves. The law firm dissolves. The partnership just goes bloop. They don't want to work with each other anymore. It happens. So you find yourself without a job. My favorite attorney left. Happened to me. I was ticked off for a while at her. And I was ticked off because I felt that my job was in jeopardy, which honestly it wasn't. But I felt that, she didn't even share it with me, but she couldn't. So she just had to, give her notice when she gave her notice, and then it was announced. And she was doing it for personal reasons, because she wanted to have a life, and she couldn't at that law firm as an attorney. I had a life as her paralegal, and I worked for the senior partner as well. But she was the one who gave me most of the work, and I truly loved her and loved working with her, and a whole bunch of us would go out to lunch all the time. I know it's weird, right? But we did. And there were friendships that developed, and then she went to work for the government. So when I tell you that you need to develop a career, this is why. Because that gives you flexibility to move if something occurs. And I can promise you that something, whatever it is, will occur. So you prepare. And then you don't have to worry if that shoe drops or the pink slips go out. You're like, oh, well, the problem is, yes, you have to find another place to work, but you have the legal knowledge, the quote-unquote ammunition, the empowered feeling that you have built something. That's what I want for you. So, sorry, guys, if you posted something, because the comments do not stay up at all. They just go boop for like 2 seconds and they're gone. So I apologize for that. here's the what I want you to keep track of. Everything that you learn that is new, that you're adding to your skill sets, whether it be software or research or whatever, you need to keep track of it all. And that's because you're building something for you. This is not about the employer. You're going to serve them for your 8 hours that you're there every day, but you're building something for you. Change the mindset about that. Don't think you're going to go into a job like this and slide through. Not going to happen. Nothing's permanent. Grab hold of that one. Number 2, you're either living on purpose and making plans and mapping your goals out even just a little bit, or you're just, flying through this life, whatever happens, happens. When you need to start preparing and orchestrating things yourself. And it's totally possible. Join us in class on the registration's May 8th. You register on May 8th, you start the classes on May 8th because they're on demand, and we have a private Facebook group. You want to know more? Go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com and get on the wait list, okay? But start to prepare for entry, for takeoff into this career. You can do this. It takes prep. So don't think it's just, well, I'm just going to throw out 50 resume cover letters and whatever sticks, sticks. Nothing's going to stick. It's going to stick. I'm not sure what that are paralegals direct with court with speaking. I don't know what that means. Oh. Well, you're not an attorney. Okay? So the attorney is the one that's an officer of the court. You're not licensed to speak before the court in most instances, okay? You're an administrative person. Now, I'm talking about paralegals in the U.S. In Canada, it's different. So I can't talk to that if KCAWC, I'm not sure where you are, but in Canada, there's a whole different way. Oh, no, you just have to be able to speak to clients and your attorney, KCAWC. So I'm an introvert, extrovert as well. Lots of introverts in this field, tons, as well as combinations like I am and major extroverts. A lot of attorneys are introverts, a lot. And the ones, I won't go into all that, but there's a whole mix of types in the law as far as paralegals. Okay, that's where I'm from originally. No, paralegals cannot get up and speak to the court in the U.S., okay? That's only for attorneys, and paralegals are not that. If we want to do that, we have to go to law school, okay? So a lot of people get confused as to what paralegals do. We are administrative people that pull all the things together in the law firm and prepare the attorney for trial if that's the type of law they're in, or we prepare the documents. We do so much that pull all the puzzle pieces together. So, all right. So planning and going after this, and I have to tell you that as an extreme introvert as a child, which I was, I couldn't carry a conversation on with people. And it was difficult for me. People carried it on for me. And in fact, they would say, she's shy, which just made it worse, actually. So I had to learn how to do that. I would literally shake. I was the kid who did not want to do oral book reports. It was mind-blowing to even consider doing that. So, you get up and talk about what career you want, and you have to go in front of the class. I did not want to do that. Nobody should be made to do that. That's my take. But I totally get that. I do. And I have to be able to speak with my attorney, and I call it logic it out. When I present something to the attorney, just when I say present, I mean, I've got to tell them what's going down with a client, what's happening. I can't go run rings around. And what I kept reminding myself was, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. So When I'm telling the attorney the scenario of something, what's going on with a case, or, with the court or with a client, I've got to get that in a, very short and sweet. And we know how to do that in Jersey and New York. Short and sweet, to the point, cut to the chase. Attorneys like that overall, okay? Okay, I'm reading your comment. Do you know why it is in jury duty that we have to present our personal information, such as yeah, well, I'm not going to go into it in detail, but they have to know everything about you, because I'll tell you one thing: they don't want paralegals on a jury, because if we've been in the field, for a little bit, we're analytical people. We analyze things. They don't want people to analyze. They'd rather you do it based on emotion and logic, but emotion, where paralegals will, no, I'm not saying we won't do it with some emotion, but when we're working, we're highly analytical and logical. So yeah, they have to go through they have to know every juror and what they're about. They don't want engineers usually on a jury. Okay? All right, back to this. Number 3, and this is the one I was telling you that I think is one of the most important ones. Well, we'll cover that in another video maybe. Number 3 is fear does not necessarily mean stop. It's like we have to carry it along with us, and it will not disappear completely. But for me, I'm praying the fear away. I'm praying it away and not carrying it with me where it consumes me and takes me over. Yes, fear is real. Nobody said it wasn't, right? It's real. But it is something that we don't want to let grow into the megaton elephant in our lives, so that we can't go after what we feel pulled and compelled to go after, namely, if it's the paralegal career or something else. We've got to pay attention to our calling, the path and the purpose that God has for us. And sometimes, growing up, I didn't know there was a path and a purpose for us. Didn't know what God's word said about that. But Jeremiah 29:11 in the Bible says exactly that. And I encourage you to read that. So, oh, you're fine. Don't worry, K-Caulk. No problem whatsoever. No, those are great questions. And I may cover that in another video. So I appreciate you totally asking that. And, that's, the questions are important. And so what I want for you guys, and you know what? The curiosity is important. So never lose that. Never lose questions and questioning, and never lose the curiosity, because the flexibility and growing our legal knowledge, it can only come from curiosity. The reasons, and let me tell you something, use Google also, as if I'm not covering something here, and there's so many areas of law I can't cover and topics, just because there's so many of them, then use Google as, hopefully, you can't find everything on there, but you can use it as your BFF. So put in some terms in Google and see what pops up. Some attorneys may have done blog posts about that very question, because they learn all about that in law school. And what your question was, K-Caulk. So very good one. And what we do is we prepare as much as we can before we make the jump. And then we jump. And there's no 100% perfection before that. And there's no perfection once you're in the field, but that's what we have to strive for. The document I file with the court, I want it to be perfect. Have I ever filed anything that was wrong? Yes, but I didn't make a habit out of it. My proofreading skills were top-notch, are top-notch. So I don't want to file something with the court that's messed up. that I didn't take the time to check, double check, triple check, quadruple check, and made sure I, have the right case number on the document. Everything about that document is perfect. That's what I strive for. But as far as me knowing everything there is to know, I won't ever get there in my lifetime, and neither will you. But preparation ahead of time to make sure that you're going into a law firm, that means that you're going to have to ask a lot of good questions, and that's part of the course that I teach in the Paralegal Inner Circle class, because you've got to have that knowledge from them. So you're not going in and finding out you're in a horrendous place. You don't want that. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to have a bad idea of what the law firm is about, what being a paralegal is about, because the right questions weren't asked in that interview. Yeah, it's important. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear of, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of the interview. I'm afraid of every interview, but I have to keep moving forward because I need the income, right? So we don't have a choice in that matter. It's where we just have to plow and go through. And if that means that you listen to these videos and that gives you strength to move forward, then yay, that's the whole purpose of all these videos. I don't want you to be stagnant. I don't want you to sit on the couch and just dream about it. I want you to do it. So less is more. I don't want you to go look at the average salary for paralegals and be in some kind of Disney World. When you look that up on Google, what's the average salary for a paralegal? It'll say some outrageous amount. That is ridiculous. Someone told me recently that in her class, the professor said that you guys are going to be raking in the dough. I mean, that sounds great. That's not what you do in the beginning. You have to earn your dollars. You have to earn your chops. You have to learn the legal field before you are ever deserving of the high bucks. You have to learn your craft. So don't think that I'm going to go in this and I'll be able to pay off all my debts. No, you're going to have to learn how to manage money, because you won't be making much in the beginning. That's not it to bring you down. That's to get you into reality. And now you can deal with reality. Now let's go forward. Okay? And start to get control of finances. Get control of spending. Line out a budget, because the job isn't the answer to spending issues. You're the answer to changing up bad habits. Okay? So less is more. And number 5, what happens in your future is up to you and the choices you're going to make now. Curiosity is probably one of the most important assets a paralegal can have. If you don't care and you look at it as a 9-to-5 job, I just want to have a paycheck and you can do that to a point, but the attorney won't want to keep you around too long because you're not really an asset. You're a liability and you're a lump in a chair. Don't be a lump in a chair. Be an asset and one who's curious, one who solves the problems, and keep the attorney paralegal relationship on a professional level and keep that separate. Yeah, you heard me. And don't go hang out with the attorney, privately after hours, or, that's not a good thing. That happens, but don't do it. Be careful with how you mix that, okay? Because your job won't be more secure because of it. Don't mix that. I've seen people do it, and they didn't have a job for long, okay? So flexibility. What will you do today to move towards this career? You're never going to be 100% perfect. So when is the end game going to occur? When are you going to jump into the paralegal field? If you bought my book, Legal Break-In, and you got the insider's view, and then you're going to take the course, or maybe you already have, but you're still sitting back, that's a choice you make. And you're ready. You're ready, but you're thinking, oh gosh, perfecto. No, you don't. But you have to be able to learn and continue to learn and have your mind open to learning all the time and not give that up and say, okay, now I'm set. You're never set. All right. So be flexible with, okay, I'll be ready in June, and you make a commitment and go for it. So what are you going to do in the meantime to be ready by June? Okay. Plan it out in a notebook. Just like this is me during my lunch hour, planning it out like crazy. New things, or beefing up the course and that I already have, and making it primo, even better for you guys. It's always all those things. Always the mind is working overtime. That's what you do as a paralegal. Okay. All right. So have a great day, guys. Good evening tonight. And then I will see you in tomorrow's video. Okay. Take care. Bye. Thanks for your questions.